Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
We've got a special guest for you today. He's a former collegiate athlete. He's a youth pastor. He's a husband. And he's been a great friend of my kids for a long time.
That's right.
Please welcome Levi Tidwell.
Let's go. Woo! Yeah. Glad to be here.
Well, Levi, I'm going to start us off here with, first of all, we've always known you as Max.
That's right.
So, what happened? How
What happened?
What that?
Man, so my name is Levi Max Tidwell. I like to lie to people and tell them it's Leviticus Maximus Tidwell on the birth certificate. But I was Max to my family. And then in high school, teachers started just going with Levi. That was the name on the sheet. And so I just stopped correcting people and then got to the point where I liked Levi better. So I started introducing myself as Levi and created the confusion that is my name.
So then after college, everybody from high school is like, who's Levi?
Exactly.
Yeah.
At some point,
I thought you were going through a transition.
yes, that's what it was. At some point there was like, does he have a brother? Is it a twin situation? So glad to create the chaos.
Well, that's fun. So we know where you grew up, but why don't you tell everybody out there where you grew up? Where were you born at?
Proud member of Harrison, Ohio. I love this town, born and raised. Oxford Road out there by Okeana. God's promised land. It's a great place.
It is pretty out there. We actually run real close to there.
Yeah.
Nearly every day, right?
Yeah.
We're close to that on our.
Exactly.
Yeah, we almost get hit by a car on Oxford.
Yeah, exactly.
Every time we
Yeah.
get out of the
Yeah, I know.
green F-150.
Yeah, it's me. Yeah, so grew up here in Harrison, went off to college for 5 years, came back because I loved it so much.
So, yeah, and I knew you were a great kid. Like, I knew you were a great kid, a great person. But I never really, I mean, I know you had siblings. How many siblings do you have?
I'm the youngest of 6. I have 3 sisters, 2 brothers, Amber, Alex, Rodney, Nate, Maggie, and then me.
I guess I never realized you had that many.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're like the Strouds. There are a lot
Yeah,
of us.
there are a lot
You
of
lose
us, yeah.
count.
Yeah.
And you don't really know if they're in the family or not.
Right. Yeah.
Like, I always see them with them, these 2 twin guys.
Yeah.
They don't say much.
Yeah. Where does Levi fall in there? And where's Max? I mean, are they twins?
Exactly, right. You lose count.
But, so
Yeah, I'm the youngest. And honestly, being the youngest is great in some ways. It's all right in the other ways.
Yeah.
Being the youngest, people say you always get your way. You know, you're spoiled, which is pretty true. Because parents are a lot less restrictive on the youngest.
Yeah.
Curfews are way later, a lot less strict. But I would say the youngest doesn't always get their way. I've never met a picky eater who was the youngest. Because you just eat what's on the plate.
That's right. You get what you get.
That's it. That's right.
Yeah. Well, and I think as far as parents are concerned, by the time it gets to the last kid, it's like, we're tired.
As
of
long
this.
as you're alive,
Right.
we've done our job.
So, I would consider you a very religious person.
Oh, for sure.
Would you say your family is as religious as you, or
Yeah.
religious?
Yeah, we always went to church growing up, to a couple different churches, but my parents have always been faithful followers of Christ and taught us the ways to be obedient to the Lord. And I mean, really, we were just grown up praying before meals, going to church. It was a real thing. It wasn't just something we did. It affected our lives. And so I'm really indebted to my parents for the faith that they had that I got to inherit. Yeah.
So, and I guess that's where, when you made your decision, I mean, you were a great athlete in high school.
Yeah.
Football player. And when you made your decision to which college to go to.
Yeah,
That was big for you.
it really was. So I decided, well, part of my story is I got called into ministry to be a pastor junior year. And so I knew I wanted to go to a Christian school, but I wanted to go to a school that was going to form me into the best pastor I could be. And so when I went to Indiana Wesleyan University, the college I played football at, not only were the coaches great men of God, they were disciplined, they were somebody I wanted to be like. Then I had professors that were really, really disciplined in their field, very scholarly, and they just taught me a lot, and I started to grow in my interest of theology, specifically practical theology, and then it kind of just went from there.
So as far as being an athlete in college and focusing on theology so much more, how does that play a role in your athletic part of things?
Absolutely. Well, sports is it's a neutral thing in the sense that it can be good and it can be bad. So sports can train you to be very prideful, very egotistical, narcissistic about yourself. And when you study theology, a lot of what God's trying to do in the world is humble people. And he's trying to make it not about you.
Yeah, and that's what we're trying to do to you out here today.
Exactly. Humble me.
Oh, athlete, huh? We'll see.
That's
What are
right.
some of the challenges you face in college? I know you talked about some of your injuries.
Yeah.
So how did that kind of humble you?
Yeah, I had 2 surgeries. I had a labrum tear in my shoulder where I had to sleep on a recliner for 4 months. While I was rehabbing, I had 17 pretty rough credit hours that semester. So not only are you making lifts, you're making practice, you're making film study, then add an hour onto that for rehab, plus you're dealing with all the insecurities of, am I the same athlete that I used to be
Right.
before the surgery? Then right when I got healthy, got back, had a great season, came back for a 5th season, and then I completely obliterate my fibula, and I had to get a plate, 6 screws put in that are still there today. I get stopped at the airport. It's awesome. Same thing there. It's like when you finally feel like you hit your stride as an athlete. When you get hurt, you have to learn how to crawl again. And while everybody else is getting better, you have to get better.
Yeah.
Even though you're struggling and you're hurting and your schedule's worse. So I remember there was a time during that when I had my shoulder rehab, I was in the library till late at night getting my schoolwork done. Everybody else out there having fun, but I had a schedule requirement to get back. And I remember thinking I could either play the victim, I can feel bad for myself, or I can do what I need to do. And I remember when my teammates told me, it's such a simple thing, because truth is simple. He said, you just gotta do what you gotta do. Like, stop gauging your feelings, stop feeling sorry for yourself. You have to do what you gotta do. And so I locked in, had a great rehab, came back, ended up breaking some school records that year, coming back winning a position battle. It was a good time. But if it wasn't for the humbling of my injury, then I couldn't have worked as hard. I couldn't have locked in as much.
Yeah, and a lot of times when people hit, those negative thoughts hit, they shut down and don't want anything to do with it.
Yeah,
And that's when it's the most important to lock in
right.
and persevere.
Yeah. And I've seen a lot of guys who do get injuries in college that they do succumb to those insecurities, that maybe I'm not what I used to be. They have doubts about their own athletic ability, and they either quit, or you can just see them mentally lock out.
Yep.
Because it's a demanding thing and you have to show up every single day.
When it's like, I'm sorry, it's like real life only magnified when you're in that type of position.
Exactly. I've heard that the things that amplify your character are marriage, money, and sports. It's not necessarily that they build character, they just expose it.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, during hard times, your true self comes out.
That's right.
I know we talked a lot to Shane about that Ranger School stuff. And
Yeah.
when you're cold, tired, and hungry,
Yeah.
that stuff really comes out.
I mean, I remember during training camp and football during the fall, I mean, all of August, you've got an entire month where you're only with your guys. And you're practicing twice a day. You're lifting. It's hard. But you also get that camaraderie. You join together. But then some guys will come their freshman year. It's too hard and they quit.
Yeah.
And it really taught me the only way you can lose is if you quit. If you stop. I didn't start playing until my third year in college, and then ended up having a great career. There's so many guys in my grade that quit freshman year, sophomore year, because they weren't seeing the playing time they had. They didn't see the big picture.
Yeah, nowadays you can enter into the portal and kind of move around.
Right.
But you might be going into the same situation when you go to the next place.
Oh, without a doubt. Without a doubt.
What was that like going from, in high school, I would say you're the man. I mean, you were always very nice. I love being around you, but you always had that playing time. You're good looking. I mean, you're really good.
He's married.
No, but he's married. Then you go into college and it like hits you like a brick wall. Like, oh man, I'm not going to be playing here.
Yeah, I mean,
for a while.
That's the nature of college football. Is you go from being the best guy on the roster, even the best guy in the conference, to now you're at the bottom of the totem pole. It's a very humbling experience because everybody out there on that practice field was the best in their conference, just by mere athleticism. And then that's where discipline kicks in. It's where studying the playbook kicks in. That's what separates the men from the boys. Because I wasn't even the most athletic in our wide receivers group. I just knew my playbook. I knew how to read the defense, and I was disciplined and I was dependable. And so I started over guys that were much more athletic than I was.
I think a lot of people. Go ahead, Sam.
You put in that extra time.
That's right.
That says talent only takes you so far.
Yeah, that's right.
But then the hard work takes over.
Yeah, it's the stuff you can control.
Yeah. Rhino?
Yeah, I mean, that's similar to what I was going to say was, you have to, people forget about actually putting in the work and what consistency will do for you over the long term.
Right.
And they think, oh, I'm not there now.
And
but
it's really it's anything in life.
That's right.
I mean, you can be talented and skilled in something, but almost every skill can be acquired. You can be gifted, but if you don't have the discipline or the stewardship to actually take advantage of that gift or talent or skill, you're gonna get beat out.
When I think you see a lot of young kids that are like the most gifted kids up until like 7th, 8th grade, right?
Yeah, right.
They don't have to work very hard.
Exactly.
And then it falls off in high school and things change because you got the workers that continue on.
Or they face a bit of adversity and they quit.
Yeah, and they're not used to it. And they haven't built that muscle of resilience. So they get beat out by guys. I mean, I remember being in 2nd grade, I was the left guard. I had to learn to block before I ever got a football.
Yeah.
And so then I remember playing defense all the junior high and freshman year. It's like I still had to earn it. When I got into high school, then I started to actually get the ball. And that's where your ego comes in. You gotta shut that down real quick.
Yeah, you never wanted to put that ball down.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I don't want to go back to
No, heck no.
That's what I admire you, because you just seem like you're just on it, right? And you're just as nice as can be. Even talking to Shane, he said, you could punch Levi in the face and he'd probably still be smiling. And I think that's very true. Obviously, I don't want to strike you. Or
Yeah, we're not going to try that.
My grandpa always used to say, hey, I'm a nice guy, but the mean ones don't mess with me.
Yeah,
It's a level of knowing when to be a gardener in a garden and a warrior in war.
Yeah.
You never want to be a warrior in a garden. You never want to be a gardener in a war.
Oh, amen. I like that.
And it's honestly, not to speak about, just not to boast about how great I am, but it's principles that have been taught to me that your commitments are more important than your feelings. Your feelings can lend you to revenge.
They can steer you in the wrong path.
Exactly, but I have a commitment that if anybody slaps me in the face, that I'm going to turn the other cheek. I have a commitment that I'm going to treat other people how I want to be treated. And that's a commitment. That's not a feelings-based action.
Yeah, and you hear that all the time, but when you, and it's such a simple thing, but when you actually see someone living by it,
We're good, guys.
it's a special thing. Like,
Yeah.
this person, you know that this person means business, like
Yeah.
they're actually doing as they preach.
Yeah.
And like, how can you be mad at a guy who does everything he says he's gonna do?
Yeah. I mean, that's what Jesus said. He said, keep your yeses and your no's your no's.
Yeah.
The one thing that Jesus hated was religious hypocrisy. People that were saying the right things, but then didn't live it.
Yeah, to be good only on Sundays.
Right.
Or Saturdays on the collegiate level.
Right.
But
I think you see that a lot in society today, you know.
Without a doubt.
People, you know, preach all this church stuff and religion, but they're going out partying every
Right.
night. They're just not living
Well,
living like Jesus.
right. That's one of the downfalls of social media is we have become more informed than we have transformed. We have become talking heads instead of actual doers. When the book of James says, do not be mere hearers of the word only, but be doers of it.
yeah.
Now, we're influencers now, so you
That's
kind of
exactly
gotta go
right.
easy on that.
Nothing
No,
against
it is
social
true.
media, but it
No,
definitely
I
has
agree.
effects.
Social media
For sure.
Yeah.
is poison in best
Yeah.
case.
Unfortunately, we're gonna have to get you to get your shorts in the ending so we can get some clickbait out there.
That's
again.
exactly right. That's exactly right.
Now, but how do you see, it's like, what's your view on the world today, Levi?
So, it's a good question. So, my master's was in practical theology. And so, I'm trained to study like this. You have to observe what's going on. You have to interpret why it's going on. You have to conclude how it should be going. Then, you have to answer, what do we do about it? So what do I see going on? I see sin taking over a lot of people's hearts in pride, in greed, in anger. Not necessarily sins of behavior, but sins of the heart. And that's why it's going on. But what is going on? That's why I love this podcast, because it says, weather's fine. A lot of people are letting their internal compass decide, and then it's being influenced by the outward world. And so when you say weather's fine, you've already made a decision that I'm gonna commit to running no matter the circumstance. When it's very easy to compromise your internal commitments because of outside circumstances.
Yeah, see, guys, I told you it wasn't a stupid name. Thanks, Levi.
Yeah.
Well, what are some examples of you observing some things in the world that's going on?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean,
Like, was there a trip you went on recently?
yes, there was. I went to Israel, spent a lot of time in Jerusalem. I got to look over the mountains into Gaza. And you really do get to understand the conflict that's over there. And at the core of it, it's a lot of geopolitical wars with the religious stamp on it. And a lot of religious people are more concerned with their cultural identity than their heavenly identity, and it causes anger and revenge.
Yeah.
And Jesus said to love your enemies, and that would solve a lot of problems in the world.
Yeah.
Now, sometimes war is necessary, especially to combat evil. I'm not demonizing war, but it is a necessary evil to stop evil.
Yeah, like save an entire country. Or...
Exactly. I mean, you go back to the Crusades. Some of the Crusades in Jerusalem were to overtake and conquer the Holy Land on worldly, fleshly terms. But then others were to defend Europe from ever becoming Muslim. So you can be your own judge to decide what was right or what was wrong. But I would say defending good and having to do necessary evil is justified.
Yeah.
That's when that warrior comes out.
You jump out of Gardner.
That's
rolling
right.
into the warrior
That's
role.
right.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm feeling good. We can go all day.
Yeah, that's good.
What's your name?
I mean, look at that sky. That's beautiful.
It is. Yeah, and it's hard to see that sometimes when you're running and you just got your head down thinking, man, I'm tired.
I mean, that's an analogy. That
Yes.
can be an illustration for life.
Yeah.
You gotta stop, smell the roses, look at the clouds every now and
How
then.
do you step out of the suck that you're currently in and separate yourself from it?
Dude, I always teach my youth students, if your life was in a library, you would be a sentence in one book.
Yeah.
You're not that important.
Yeah.
There is a cosmic insignificance that will really humble you and make you think, man, maybe this whole thing isn't about looking at my life on the pavement. Maybe I gotta look up. Maybe there's something more.
Yeah, if nothing matters, then you might as well enjoy it.
That's right.
It's like, you could look at that in a couple different ways. Like, oh, nothing matters. I don't matter.
Right.
I might as well just off myself.
Right.
Or, nothing matters. I don't matter.
No,
I might as well make the best of it.
You're onto something, Hank. That worldview is called nihilism. And it's where, hey, nothing matters, so might as well just go party. Just go do something that's pointless. But then there's a realization that maybe something matters, and maybe that something matters more than me.
Yeah, higher calling.
Exactly. So I'm willing to sacrifice my wants, my desires, my dreams for that.
So
And
you
that's
talked
purpose.
about your junior year. Is that when you felt that calling?
Yeah, crazy story, awesome story. So I went to a conference at the church I serve at now, and I was sitting in the back row. I was reluctantly there, and for the first time in my life, I felt like God, the Spirit of God was being active. And so what he was calling me to was to surrender my hopes, my dreams, any fleshly wants, and to follow his way. So right there I surrendered. 24 hours later at the same conference, we're praying, and I don't hear audible voice, but I hear a thought that was not mine, and it said ministry. I thought, that's weird, that's probably me thinking. So go out to eat with my pastor later, and I go, what do you think I should do with my life? He goes, I told our lead pastor 4 weeks ago, you should be a pastor and go into ministry.
Wow.
I go, well, if that's ever a calling, I got some clarity on it, so I'm gonna do that.
That's awesome.
Do you feel like in your football career, when you didn't you say you had like a really good game, set like your best game ever?
Yeah.
Do you feel like that was the time where you stepped out of the Levi role and let God pass right through you?
Yeah, I mean, it's daily surrenders that'll get you to the point where you're finally feeling like God's plan is coming to fruition. 'Cause there's so many times, so many days where I was like, man, should I be here? I'm not getting much playing time. I'm not very well respected. I'm really a peasant in this program. But I just felt like that's where I was supposed to be. So I kept working hard. And so then you see God's plan. It really is for us to be fruitful and to flourish. And sometimes there has to be a digging before
We can turn it around.
a seed can be planted. Oh yeah. Oh dude, we're good. We can keep going.
Did you do 8?
We'll just continue all the way around. We'll slow
Let's
it
do
down
it,
a little
yeah,
bit. Why
yeah.
don't we slow it down just a hair? We'll slow
Let's
it down
go to 4
We could take
and
a.
then turn around.
Okay.
Yeah, it's 4, chill out, then turn around.
If we go to 4, we might as well just continue running because it's only
That's
like
right.
3.8 left. So
Let's do it.
that's good. Okay. We'll just slow it down a little bit. Okay.
See, that's what I'm learning in running. My whole life I've trained to run as fast as I can
Yeah,
possibly
yeah.
can on a football field. And when you get into long distance endurance, you have to learn to pace yourself.
Oh yeah.
That's a hard adjustment to
We
make.
got a funny story about that.
Yeah.
We did the Columbus Marathon in October. You know, our training cycle went very well. I think our 20 miler, we were at like what, a 7:30.
Yeah, we were getting overly confident, borderline arrogant.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were
Like, oh, we're gonna
always
crush
on it.
this marathon here.
We started out the marathon probably at a 7-minute pace for the first what, 16.
Oh boy.
Post half marathon.
Yeah, the half marathon time was awesome. It was like 1:30 something. But
Pride comes before the fall.
yeah, it was rough, man. Cramps. Like we weren't tired. We were just cramping so bad.
I ran a 4-hour, 20-minute marathon.
That's awesome. Let's go.
So I was going for a 3-hour, low threes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you got humble real quick.
Yeah, so it's not really as awesome as you might think. It's really bad.
Yank, you did it.
That's true.
Yeah,
You finished.
but
In
at
the
the
moment.
time, like when we finished, we were like, we didn't even.
I wasn't happy at
Yeah.
all.
Right, sure.
Which is kind of a sad
That's sad.
mindset,
Right.
Because you have so much expectation,
Right.
and when you fail, it sucks.
And the temptation is to next time lessen your expectation to lower your disappointment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not what you want to do.
No. So, like, what would you recommend someone like in that scenario? Would you say just do the best you can? But that kind of doesn't get you the best results a lot of times.
Right.
Like having that goal is almost necessary.
Well, there's a complacency mindset that you can say, well, I'll do the best I can, and you shrug your shoulders.
Yeah.
And that's really a lie,
Yep.
because you're just putting that mantra over a complacent, lazy mindset.
Kind of bracing for failure.
Right. Well, it's okay if I fail. But before your race or before your competition, or even before I go and preach, I have high expectations for myself.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, if I don't do the right things, I will fail. But when you get done with it, maybe it's disappointing, that's when grace has to hit in. You gotta say, all right, wasn't it the best? I put in my best, but I know I can do better.
Yeah.
You gotta know, you gotta love yourself to love yourself right now, but then love yourself enough to push yourself and know your potential.
Yeah, and continue on. Don't quit.
Right.
Because you didn't get the result you wanted.
That's exactly right.
Keep pushing, and you will achieve those results eventually.
That's right.
Well, I think that's what I love about distance running. It's so close to real life,
Yeah.
and that's very helpful.
You have your highs and lows.
The biggest helpful thing in distance running is your mind wants to talk a lot and tell you to quit. And the only way to combat that is to talk to yourself.
Yeah.
You've got to say the truth. I can do this. I'm still good. I'm gonna keep going. I don't quit. While your mind is trying to tell you, quit.
Yeah.
It's easier.
And I think the more you push past that, the less of those thoughts happen.
Exactly.
I mean, when you get in hard scenarios, I think everyone has those thoughts.
Yeah.
I think they'd be liars if they said they didn't.
Yeah.
Good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, I think you're right, Sam.
Well, that's the other thing I like about team running.
Yeah.
When you're out here, you're more in the journey mode.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
You forget about that pain.
It's kind of like we're in a minivan just driving.
Yeah.
Well, another great analogy. If you're in isolation, lies feel a lot more like truth. But when you actually have people around you, truth is a lot more simple, and you're open to it because you're in community.
Yeah, think about how loud that inner self, that voice of yourself is
Right.
when you're all alone.
It's very loud.
When you're in a group of people, you can't even hear it.
Yeah, it loses its power.
Well, if you have that group around you that's telling you the right lies, like you are going to be able to make it,
Right.
or telling you you can't make it. It depends on the group, right?
Exactly. I mean, man, training up for this, I only ran 3 miles at a time. I'm feeling amazing at 384.
Good.
Let's go.
Now, Levi, what's the longest distance that you've ran? Just working out, doing whatever.
I ran 10 miles. I started at my house over at Oxford, ran a mile to this intersection we're about to get to, ran this and ran back.
How long ago was that?
Had to have been 2 years ago. This is the prime of training for football.
Now, was that kind of like the longest by far that you'd ever done to that point?
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
And it was hard because I was alone.
Yeah. It's a lot easier to quit when you're alone.
I was so
like
much
no
more.
one's watching.
Exactly.
Yep.
I can walk.
It's one thing we like about the camera.
Yeah.
You know?
It's motivation.
Yeah.
But I think that can be implemented into real life. Like if you're all alone and you have a higher power,
Yeah.
it's like, well, he's watching.
Exactly.
So he holds you to that standard.
Yeah, Hank, it's about having an audience of one. I mean, I couldn't care less what the people behind the screen care.
Yeah.
Because I have approval from my Father in heaven.
Amen. That's good.
But that means everything I do has to be done with excellence because my judge has a very high standard.
Yeah. But he also knows you're gonna fail, and everyone sins, right?
Right. All falls short of the glory
That's
of God.
why he died on the cross.
That's right. That's exactly right. There's grace. He loves you enough where you're at, but he loves you too much to keep you there.
Now, what would be a way? Have you ever thought about any strategies about the best way of getting people to see that? Because I'm sure you felt it, like the first time you were sitting in church,
Yeah.
reluctantly, like, I don't want to be here.
Absolutely.
What's a good way?
So there's an allegory that's pretty ancient. It's about these 3 guys that are in a cave, and all they can see is shadows from a light coming in, and they think that's the world. One guy gets so bold, he wants to see where the shadows are coming from. So he climbs out of the cave, and he goes out, and at first, the light hurts his eyes because he's been dark so long. So then it's a adjustment period. But then once his eyes adjust, he sees mountains, rivers, lakes, fields, animals, humans, and it's beautiful. So he goes back to the cave, says, guys, you're living in the darkness. Come out. It's beautiful out here. They try. The light hurts too much. They cowered out and they crawl back in the cave. So they never saw it. It really takes a lot of courage. And it is hard. I'm not invalidating that. But like the Bible says, the future's glories are incomparable to the present sufferings.
You got the hair standing up on my back, Levi.
Let's go.
Do you feel like nowadays there's a lot of people moving away from the church or religion in general? Or do you think it's the opposite? Do you think people want to be saved?
I think it's a push and a pull. I think the church is always being refined and its impurities are always coming to the top and getting wiped out. But then it's always seeking. God made the people that are his people to be a light. A light attracts people in and it goes and gets people. And so I think both are happening at the same time, Hank. And it really comes down to the matter of heart. I remember when I was new to church, still not really understanding, nobody comes to Jesus and says, oh, for sure, that's easy.
Yeah.
Jesus even said, count the cost. There's a cost to following me. Count it before you come in.
Yeah, you're gonna have to give up your vices. You can't
Exactly.
go out and party. Can't sleep with women. You got to go to him.
Yeah, and it's really laying down your pride and being humble. And the biggest thing about humility, the way you can express humility the most is following a plan you don't understand.
Yeah. Yeah, just trust. Well, that's belief.
Right.
That's belief.
That's
right?
exactly what it is.
You don't see him.
Well, I got another story for you, Hank. So, there's this guy that has a wheelbarrow, and wait, I need to
See a
start that.
landscaper?
We know a little bit about
This
that.
is so close to home for us.
That's right.
I like this story so far.
Well, first of all, he's a tightroper.
Okay.
So he says, I'm gonna tightrope across Niagara Falls. And everybody's like, whoa, dude, that's insane. So they go out and they see it, there's a big crowd. And he walks across it, no problem. He comes back and he's carrying a dog. He goes back out in the middle and he's making breakfast on a hot plate. And all the people go, wow, this is amazing, you can do anything. So he grabs a wheelbarrow and he says, does anybody believe that I can go across with this wheelbarrow? And they go, yeah, absolutely, you can. And then he says, all right, who wants to get in? And the crowd goes silent. It's one thing to believe, it's another thing to trust.
Yeah.
That is a good one.
So it's like believe in the Lord, but also trust in Him.
Exactly, it's not just words, it's actually action. Faith without works is dead.
Yeah.
It's actually trusting, because disobedience doesn't always look like doing something you're not supposed to. It usually looks like not trusting Him and grabbing control and grabbing the steering wheel at a white knuckle and saying, I'm gonna do it myself. All right, we're about at 4, huh?
Well, let's keep running because it's only 3.8 more.
Yeah,
That's this direction.
I heard you kind of
good.
wheezing. You want to?
Yeah, let's back it down a little bit. It's
Yeah,
okay.
we'll
We're a
just-
marathon here, not a sprint.
That's right. It's something I'm still training myself to know.
Yeah.
And you are, what is your fastest 40 time? Because you are a very fast kid.
I had a 4.59 in my prime.
Woo!
But it's pretty good for a white boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I had a 5.49. So this close,
But
right?
how much were you weighing though? You're probably close to 200, huh?
I was getting up there, probably 190. Hank, they used to call me communion because I'm the cracker with the juice, you know what I'm saying?
That's great.
You and Shane both have a lot of one-liners.
No, but you see that in social media, kind of like you're talking about with the wheelbarrow, where how many posts do you really think people read about things that they just click, oh, like it, right? And I feel like that a lot with what we're doing. It's like, oh yeah, that's cool, whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool, whatever. And I think maybe, hopefully, there's a lot of people that will see what we're up to, see what we're trying to do here.
Right. And social media is good because it does create community. There's people on that camera that listen to our conversation. They're as much here as we are there. And then there's bad things about social media where people love to exaggerate and romanticize life, and people get deceived on what kind of expectations they should have, and then they end up liking someone else's life more than they love their own.
Yeah.
It's really important to really love your life.
Yeah, like if we were doing donuts in a Lamborghini out here and you were the passenger, how many more likes would we get
Exactly.
than you slobbering and snotting?
That's right.
And us trying to gas for life,
That's
right?
right.
We're doing it, whereas that's like a surface BS.
That's exactly right.
This is reality. Anyone could come out here and do this.
That's right.
And we want people to. That'd be awesome.
But I think we also want them to understand that when you join together as a team and enjoy the journey, it's not the pain that you think when you are trying to do life at a sprint.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, you want to go fast, you go alone. If you want to go far, you go in a group.
Yeah. Amen. Daggone, you should be like a youth pastor or something.
Back to that minivan thing, we kind of are like we're in a minivan, but it ran out of gas. So we're running to the gas
we're running
station.
on fumes. You know, there was a time when I filled up a diesel truck with premium gas.
I remember that.
I'm going down the highway in a Rehage landscaping truck.
You made a call to me,
5 miles per hour.
and you said, "What did I do?"
There's black smoke coming out. I go, I think there's something wrong with his truck. My last assumption was that I did something wrong.
Could have been me.
Yeah.
How many times do we look at life through that lens? Oh, that couldn't have been me. That's someone else's doing. That's the vehicles.
Yeah, that's the
out
human
on you.
condition. I mean, look at Adam and Eve. When they got caught doing what they weren't supposed to do, they played the blame game. And God said in another book, Job, he says, are you going to condemn me to justify yourself? It's human condition. We get defensive because we want to preserve our image. Every human deals with that.
Well, I think that's the simplest answer. And most people skip the simplest answer. That's in looking at you.
Yeah.
You know, hey,
Because it's really the only thing that can be changed.
yeah,
Is you.
Is you.
Yeah, it's all you're in control of.
And a lot of people say, I don't have control of, it's so hard for me to control myself.
Right.
Well, you're the only one that can.
That's exactly right.
You know, God gives you free will.
You're probably facing that all the time in the churches.
Right.
You can preach to someone day in, day out, Sunday after Sunday.
Right.
But until they come up with it in their own head, they're like, okay, I'm gonna actually give my life up to Christ.
That's right. It's up to you to change with the help of God. But
I
you do
think
have
that-
free agency in it.
That's like your children. That's like what you do with your kids. I think it's very tough to be a parent because you want them to be, you want to guide them, you want to tell them what to do, but you have to let them make those mistakes.
Exactly.
You have to send them off to where
That's right.
tough situations.
That's right. It's when truth and grace comes in. You tell them the truth, they don't follow it. You meet it with grace. You remind them of the truth. That's why they call God Father. It's like a parent.
So the way you were raised, you
Yeah.
said, would you say it was you're the last born, so would you say it was more hands off?
I was pretty much raised by my siblings. My parents were awesome, lovely people, but they were making ends meet.
Yeah.
So it's almost like you could do, this is how I felt about my
Like
childhood,
tighten it up.
is I can kind of do whatever I want. I have the world,
That's
I
right.
can do whatever I want, but I'm just gonna be a good kid.
Yeah.
Not go drought drinking, doing drugs.
Yeah.
Like in high school, it kind of seemed like you were the only one.
Yeah.
You and my brother were the only ones who weren't doing that.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. I think people get warped up in opinions. And as the great quarterback Jalen Hurts said, I had a purpose before everybody had an opinion. And so we're called to be set apart, be different. We have a different standard to our life. And I don't judge people that don't live by that standard.
Yeah.
That's fine. You're not going to scrub that standard. But then people that do, that's the people you hold accountable.
I think it's great when people focus on the reasons why you don't head down those paths
Yes.
instead of the reasons, hey, why aren't you going out with us and partying, man? You don't
Right.
like us? Of course I like you,
Yeah.
but I'm trying to do better for myself.
Exactly. You don't want to just shoo them off and be like, you're terrible, and never giving them an explanation on why you're different.
I feel like people ask me all the time, why don't I drink? I'm like, that's such a weird, it's like,
Nobody asks, why don't you smoke cigarettes?
why don't you do cocaine?
Right.
I don't know, dude.
It's something, unfortunately, it's something in our culture you have to opt out of, not opt in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's like, you might be able to help me on this saying. It's just not coming to my mind. It's like, evil loves company, or
Yeah.
it's
Bad company corrupts good character. And I would say victimhood loves a friend.
Oh, that's right, yeah. So you get people that just waller in their misery.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Misery loves company.
the Eeyores of life.
That's right.
Shout out to Winnie the Pooh. Every podcast is gonna have a Winnie the Pooh reference.
James was, he called something Pooh Bear in it.
Yeah, when he has a shirt on, no pants.
Yeah, but victimhood.
So I want to ask this real quick. Okay, earlier when you woke up this morning,
Yeah.
what was the weather like?
It was raining, it was windy, It was gross.
And you probably had a similar thought, but I'm kind of more accustomed to, passing that by at this point. But you would have thought, hey, maybe we shouldn't do this today.
Yeah. Exactly.
I had that thought.
But look what we've got right now and
That's right.
have ever since this started.
That's right.
We would have regretted it if we didn't.
Yeah. That's when you get too worked up on what if and not what is.
Yeah.
It's like, so what? You go out, it's rainy, you get wet. Then what? Big freaking deal.
Waterproof.
Right.
Either way, we got to take a shower after because we
Exactly.
stink from sweating or whatever.
Oh,
Right?
dude, I'm going to a sauna and a cold plunge after this. Let's go.
Where do you go?
Contrast Studios. I got a little gift card because I'm a baller on a budget.
Is that right there in Harrison? Or
It's
no?
in Hyde Park.
Oh, okay.
Big money. Big money. That
A
one.
little Christmas gift from Santa.
Oh, there you go.
I did see that loft. Not a sponsor. Is it Float? Maybe it's
Maybe we could get a sponsor from
Float
it.
Loft.
Yeah.
Don't close that door.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
I think they do like saltwater floats.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Recovery's big.
Absolutely.
That's very important.
Yeah, it is. You got to take care of yourself.
Stretching is key.
What's your exercise regimen look like now that you're out of the sports? You're married, you're into adulthood. You're
Right.
Over here.
You're full force into adulthood.
Yeah.
We almost lost Chuck there, but he's okay.
And if that doesn't speak to the younger child, I don't know what does. Felt that a lot of times, Chuck. But my split right now, I have some New Year's resolutions. I'm giving 50 miles in the month of January, which is like a week for you guys.
I don't know about sometimes,
But
but marathon.
then me and my wife are doing the one ingredient diet, which we're pretty loose on, but
You do 2 ingredients.
yeah,
get crazy.
just everything that we do just has to be made from organic foods.
Okay.
No bread, no tortillas, no pasta, nothing like that. Just rice, chicken, veggies, fruits, steaks, sweet potatoes.
Nice.
That's awesome.
And then I lift 3 times a week. I try and run 3 times a week.
When you have goals as a couple, do you believe that builds your relationship?
Oh yeah, without a doubt. I mean, I mentor a lot of people, a lot of high school guys, but if I failed to bring my wife along and have us reach towards goals, I've failed as a husband.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where, like we said, you go fast, you go alone. You go far, you go together.
Yeah.
So now she went to the same college as you, right, or no?
She did. We met at college.
Okay.
On the 3rd day, I went up to her, gave her a fist bump. Said, "What's your name, little girl?" "What's up, Shotty?" And she did not like that.
She said, weirdo.
She even said later, she saw my friends hyping me up before I went and said hi to her, giving me one of these actions.
That's hilarious.
She goes, "Oh, this doofus is about to come up to me." Hey, shooters got shoot.
That's right. Well, thank goodness you did, huh?
That's right.
You miss 100% of the shots you don't hit.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's a rare Charlie
leave
W.
the preaching.
Yeah, I'll leave it there.
Yeah, dude, don't steal my thunder.
I was gonna say that. What would be? What are some things you learned from getting married?
Oh man, you're way more selfish than you think you are. When you get married, you have to account for another human. And they don't tell you this. She's also selfish.
Yeah.
And then it's,
Sometimes more than you.
Hey!
We're not womanizers out here.
I'm gonna bite the bullet. I'm way more selfish than she is. And so,
Good boy, Levi.
so it's really learning to have forgiveness and grace and learn to be selfless.
Don't you go tearing up on us now, Levi.
Now, I do have a loogie I gotta get out.
Go ahead. Yeah.
So you met her up there, and she lives down here now. So what was moving down here like for her?
Yeah, I mean, it's adjustment. It's a huge sacrifice. Yet again, she's more selfless than I am. So she pretty much moved to where she only knew me and my family. She's had to make friends. get to know people, put herself out there. Hasn't been easy, but I don't know of a better person that could face that. She's done awesome.
Sounds like we might have had the wrong person on today.
You're right. She's more of an incline walker. Okay. You can join her at Planet Fitness.
That's good.
So do you guys go visit her family often?
Yeah, holidays and stuff like that in Indy.
Yeah.
So it's not too bad.
Yeah, that's an hour and a half.
That's right. She's got friends down there. We hang out with them.
So what is it that, like, what's her passion in life? Is she in ministry or what's
She
her?
is. She is. She has a calling to ministry as well, but she doesn't work at the church right now. Big jump.
Too much work. Just run through it.
And so she works for an organization that helps churches around the U.S. and kind of help them start ministries. She's great at it.
That's good.
Is that like an online gig or how's
It is.
that work?
Yeah, she's remote.
That's
It's
awesome.
perfect for her. I am gonna say we should observe the beauty of this underbridge, and I'm gonna hide the fact that I'm gassing out.
Did you write your name under here or something?
Yeah, that's what it is.
What's your wife's name? Emily?
Would you look at that?
Right there.
All right.
That's okay. We'll slow it down a little more. It's okay. We're gonna get a little deeper in here and breathe a little bit.
That's
Know
right.
that we're here for you. Know that God's there for you.
That's right.
And that's one thing that I've thought about in the roughest of times. The first marathon I ever did, Levi,
Yeah.
I prayed so much, but the best marathon I did, I prayed the entire time.
Yeah.
And it was just, I was just envisioning God, because it's like if you are the Son of God,
Yeah.
you have the power of God.
Right.
So that's kind of what my thought
That's right.
process was. And I'd like you to tap into that right now, especially because what can't he do?
That's right.
You know?
That's
Like
right.
Romans 8:11 says the same. It says, don't quote me on this.
Are you making this up?
It says
Paraphrase
something to the effect of the same power that rose Christ off the cross dwells within
That's
you.
exactly it, Sam.
Good
Let's
job,
go.
Sam.
And he also
Yes.
said, yeah, let's go.
I've been going to church.
That's what I'm talking about, dude. Let's go. And scripture also says that God did not give us a spirit of fear, timidity. He gave us power, self-control. And so, you think about that, you can coward out. That's not the Spirit of God. The Spirit of God is one of power and self-control. So you don't tell, your body doesn't tell you what to do. You tell your body what to do.
Yeah.
That's spot on, Ryan.
And I did hear this ultra marathon lady talking, and she said she was talking about the teamwork that goes inside her head on these. It's between the mental and the physical.
Yeah.
And when your mental isn't there,
Right.
your physical just needs to take over.
Oh, without a doubt.
So even if you're by yourself and you're not, you haven't made it to the point of tapping into God's
Right.
power. There's that, but I think that mental aspect of it is a lot more of God than what people realize.
Oh, without a doubt. You can attribute it to yourself. You can give glory where glory's due.
Yeah.
So, something that I struggle with, and you can go in on me on this, Levi, is, I think of myself, I'm a good guy. I have my downfalls that I try to work on.
Yeah. Welcome to the club, Hank.
But
You're human.
I haven't really let Christ in
Yeah.
because I almost feel like, well, I kind of got it all. What do I need help with?
Right.
I'll figure it out myself.
Without a doubt. And that's the trap of America, is you can figure it out yourself and you can become successful. But what Christ does is he gives you a new perspective and he redefines what success is. You can have all the money in the world. I like to say it like this, Hank. Some people are so rich, all they have is money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you can get all that, you can get clout, approval from people, but then what can you take with you? When you look outside of your life, what are you gonna be able to take? You're only gonna be able to take what you've given out.
Yeah.
And so you can preserve yourself. I don't doubt that a bit, Hank.
Hey, don't slap my camera arm, man.
You can definitely self-preserve. You're competent enough, you're strong enough, you got people around you. But the question is, how many people did you help out along the way? How many people did you bless?
Yeah.
Because that's,
We can get a lot. Very selfish.
that's right. So there's some people in the world, they need help. There's some people in the world that can help. And the devil's winning if he can convince the people that can help to not.
Yeah.
And to just say, I'm okay. That's all I need.
Yeah. Like I'm squared away. I just focus on me.
Yeah.
If you could give advice to someone who just wants to take that first step, what would it be? What would you recommend?
Yeah, dude, it's first step's always the hardest.
Yeah.
And so I think there's a lot of grace with that because I think we've all experienced. But that doesn't mean it's an excuse. Just because it's hard doesn't mean it's valid. And so I would just say, look into the Gospels. Eternity is too long to be wrong.
Yeah.
And so it's a pretty high stakes decision to give your life to Christ or to live for something else. And so it's at least looking into. I can be cordial with people that look into it and deny it, because at least they let their curiosity get them to Christ, and then it's between them and God.
Yeah.
My job is to make them curious.
Yeah, to get them there.
Yeah.
Yeah. How I always think of it is like, what's a better thing to think about? Like, oh, when I die, it's just gonna go black.
Yeah.
Or when I die,
yeah.
I'll have eternal life in heaven.
Right.
It's like, it's the eternal life in heaven.
Right.
Is a more enjoyable thought.
Right. Exactly. But it's hard to change.
Yeah.
That's the temptation, is to stay the way you are. Oh, hey, you'll like this story. So there's two babies in a womb, and they're talking to each other, and one's saying, man, this is all gonna be over in 9 months. It's all gonna be over. This is all we know about life. If you take empirical evidence, this is all we know. The other guy goes, can't you believe in something else? Can't you believe there's something outside the womb? There's something greater? And both of them get born. And the guy that knew it looked at the other one and said, I told you so. I think that's eternity.
Yeah.
We are so blinded by what we know. And so we have to humble ourselves and say, God, you know a lot more than I do. You can see a lot more than I do. I'm gonna do what you say.
Yeah.
Do you think that process for people it goes at a different pace sometimes?
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, dude, some people wrestle for years, and God's right there with them. God's patient, but he's always wrestling.
Yeah.
He's always pursuing you.
How do you overcome that battle between, you know, you're doing something good one point and then the next you're right back living in sin?
Right.
How do you get away from that sin?
The Bible says that a righteous man falls 7 times and gets up again. So to me, that means righteousness, it's not about how many times you go down, it's about how many times you get up.
Yeah.
So you can wallow in the past and say, I'm not good enough. Well, I got good news for you. It's not dependent on you.
Yeah.
That's why Christ died.
Yeah.
Get up
Exactly.
and try again.
Let's slow it down a little bit going up this hill. Let's preserve.
You just got to keep going.
That's right.
That's the big
That's right. There's always grace. Mercies are new every morning.
And you're always going to sin. And you're always going to fall.
That's right. And God's going to win you over one step at a time, and he's still winning me over.
Yeah.
So, Levi, we went into this podcast, at least my thoughts were, I want to help people. Okay?
Yeah.
And there's been times in my past where I've been locked down, giving my life to Christ, and I'm like, I don't know, maybe
Right, there's always that doubt.
yeah, you're kind of backing out of it. I feel like I've maintained being a good person, but I've definitely need to get back in there. And I feel like I only went into this as trying to help.
Yeah.
And I've discovered a lot of people that are amazing people.
Right.
And I think that's kind of where my thinking is on, you know, the time it takes for certain people.
Right.
And some take short amounts of time to say this is it.
Right.
And some people it's a long drawn out monologue.
That's exactly
like
right.
I do.
Yeah. As long as you're wrestling with God, you're in the right place. One day, he'll win.
Amen.
That's how that's how everybody's won over. Nobody's won over with no difficulties. There's always reluctancy because you have human condition.
Yeah. We're almost there, Levi.
That's right. Almost there. Keep going. Keep doing it.
What a
We got
wonderful day for that.
Yeah.
January 9th. Beautiful day.
60 degrees out.
It feels like a warm April day.
It does.
Oh, this is
We had some April weather this morning too.
Yeah, we
with the
did.
rain.
Yeah, what is it? What is the temperature now, you think? About, did you say about 60?
I don't know.
Your fancy
Feels like
watch
it's
saying
80 right now.
I was seeing if it had that.
Just seeing if your heart rate was still intact.
Yeah. It says dead, so.
Hopefully that's just the battery.
This is strange, guys. I'm dead.
My wife will wake up, she'll look at her Oura ring, she'll say, oh, I slept terribly. I go, you trust that thing to tell you how you slept? I can tell you right now, I slept great.
Yeah.
Yeah, how does it know more than how you feel?
Yeah.
Good morning. Once we make it through this hill right here,
Yeah.
we'll talk about the any missions you're on. Okay, we got a good hill right here.
That's right.
Just pull it together here. Stand up tall.
Remind yourself you look up, yep.
Yeah, look up. Look at that beautiful sunrise.
That's right.
Don't get blinded down
Yeah, don't blind it.
and wreck the minivan. Yeah. You're driving right now.
That's right.
Got the gas back in it. Got the diesel fuel.
That's right. We got black smoke coming out.
Well, we did rope Levi into a 5-mile run. I think it started out as, and then I think it maybe morphed into a 6-miler.
He did
I'm the one that did it to myself.
Yeah.
I did it to myself.
That's good.
You signed the form.
That's right.
Yeah.
And that includes the cow tip. Just kidding, we're not going to do that.
But Levi, is there any mission that, I know you're a strong follower of Jesus.
Right.
And what's your big message that you'd like to put out there to the viewers?
Yeah. My mission, good morning. My mission is to get people free. True freedom. Sin always feels like freedom until you try to quit. And then you feel like a slave. So my goal is to lead them to Jesus so they can get free of whatever's controlling them. And then they can grab onto Jesus and you start discipling them and carrying them. Specifically men, I think you look throughout history and men used to conquer land to get the approval of their homeland. Well now, men, they try and conquer the bedroom, sleep with as many people as you can, the bank account, get as much money as you can, and the ball field. Try and get as good as you can at sports to get approval. All those things are not inherently bad. They're actually created by God, and they're good. But we've perverted them and twisted them, and we've made those the purpose of our life.
Yeah.
And my goal is to get people free. Good morning.
So would you say, or how would you define the road less traveled in life? If I threw that out to you and said, have you ever thought about that? What would the road less traveled be in your mind?
The road less traveled is sometimes mislabeled as good and bad. that those are the only two powers in life. But I think the two powers that are at war are humility and pride. So the ultimate demonstration of humility is to submit to God, submit to Christ's plan. That's the narrow way. That's harder to do. It's harder to trust than it is to do in your own strength.
You think that
we were made
is...
for resilience. It's like a plane going up. They're moving forward, but without the resistance of the crowd and of the wind, they don't lift up.
Yeah.
Guys, we're almost there.
We are almost there. Levi, what fills your cup every day? When you get up in the morning, at the end of the day, what's it take? What's it take for you?
I think it's the most important thing is relationships. I think that's where true rest comes from. It's where purpose comes from. We were meant to be together, influence each other, and love one another. Anything else, I don't want to do anything else, anything more, anything less.
Build great relationships.
That's what's great about this podcast. You show people if they run together, that's purpose right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't waste any time either.
Nope.
We got a workout in.
Efficiency.
That's awesome. So when you think about your legacy, what kind of legacy do you want to leave?
It's a good question. I want to leave a legacy of significance, not success. It would be a shame if I succeeded in everything I did, but God never asked me to do those things. And I get to the end of my life, and I stand before God in Judgment Day, and He says, I had all this for you, but you were distracted with other stuff. So it's about dreaming, not getting distracted.
Yeah.
That's great. I like that. If I was on Facebook, I would love it. I'd put a big heart.
Yeah. I'd subscribe to the YouTube channel.
I'd subscribe twice if I could.
That's right.
Funny story. I've actually made multiple Gmail accounts.
Hilarious. To boost your ratings.
I guess 43 of them.
Yeah.
Add your stats.
I'm all 43 subs.
Levi, we're so glad you came out here today.
Man, this was awesome.
And if I call you Max sometimes, you know it's because
That's right.
I'm going
It's 'cause you're
OG
an
on you.
He's a real one.
That's right. Ryan's always been there for us. You guys are lucky to have a great dad that motivates you.
Yeah, it's awesome.
What's one thing you remember about football when I was around? And when it was specifically on defense, anything?
Oh, dude, you were yelling. You were our biggest cheerleader. What would you yell?
Something about defense.
Something about defense.
Like, go defense,
Hype
probably.
me up.
I'm simple.
I've got a helmet that's the size of my body, and I got Ryan Stroud hyping me up. Defense! I'm ready to take somebody's head off.
Well, any plugs or anything you want to give out?
Plugs. Man, I work at Church on Fire. It's a great place. You want to know Christ, you want community doing it, come. We have Heaven Week this upcoming week where we have an event every day for 8 days. It's gonna change lives. Then I also started a haircutting side gig, Hank.
Oh.
So if you need a haircut, hit me up.
Smoochie's definitely, I've been hacking up his hair lately, so he should
That's
probably
right.
come back to see you.
This haircut's my own doing. Don't go too
Yeah.
I might have to hitch it up.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Well,
thanks.
again, Levi, thanks a ton. We're so
Absolutely.
glad to have you, and we're glad everybody's tuning in. Thank you.
Thank you guys. This was awesome.
Thanks for Make it a great day. Yes!
Oh, baby. That was awesome.